Hey everybody, it's your boy VG Time back from US Nationals and Worlds. And this is just my quick little overview of what my experience was like at the event and just get into it. Very fun time. I got to see a lot of things, do a lot of things. More specifically, got to play the new Fusion World, got to play some of the video games I haven't played in a long time, and got to play at US Nats. At Nats, I bought my Black Broly list. You see a similar list to what I played on the channel already. It doesn't change a whole lot, just a few cards here and there. And, I try to high roll the tournament. I did not actually put as much prep time as I would have liked to go into an event like this. So I just tried to win through cheese. And I ended up at a 500 record of 3-3 before I dropped to go out and get food and enjoy myself. Now, unlike last year, there was actually food, regardless of how expensive or outrageously, priced it was, but at least it existed. So kudos to them for that. Um, the venue itself was great. The event was fairly well ran. There was like little minor issues, but we weren't one piece where they had, the whole world crashing around them. All right, so as far as who I went with and all that stuff, similar to last year, I went with the homie Randoms, also known as our third place national finisher, Raymond Sierra. He was on 21. And then I was also rooming with Max, who is a top 16 finalist on Go Hanks. Both of those guys performed well, so shout out to them. And also the homie Gerard and Mao, and we had a nice little area in downtown LA, which is full in our hard times recently because there's a lot of nastiness going on in downtown LA. But I did get to see a bunch of celebrities in the sports world, so I do appreciate that as well. As far as people in the Dragon Ball world, I got to meet Damien and various other content creators, Scott and Peter and whatnot, and we even had chances to get drinks and have a good time with each other. Uh, so yeah, it was a fun time overall. A lot of great games being played. As far as like my games themselves, first round, whew, I should actually write these type of things down. But basically, I lost the first two rounds, won the next three rounds, and lost the last round against that I played against Cooler Mill. Uh, each of my losses are basically to the deck itself. The first game, I did not see one of my main boss monsters that I should be seeing if you go 25 cards deep into your deck, but that's neither here nor there. And then the second game, no SCR in time, so bust. And the third game, no SCR in time, so bust. It's kind of one of those things where you kind of expect it for a deck like that. I also got to meet a bunch of people that I only ever seen in the Discord or even in the comment section. So those of you that walked up to me and said, "Hey, thank you again for doing that," that was really fun to actually meet people who actually subscribe to the channel. And believe me, I will be back in full bore, hopefully soon, within the next couple of months, just in time for the next topic, which is Fusion World, which seems to be in a huge swing because while you were there, you literally could not even, if you didn't show up early on that day for Fusion World, and that's early, like 6 o'clock in the morning, you probably weren't touching Fusion World unless you had the patience of the Buddha because you needed to be able to stand in line for multiple hours. And back when I was in my early 20s, something like that might have been a thing, but not when I'm damn near filled to 50. I don't care about it that much. But I did get a chance to get the little um, half deck things that they gave out for like learning the demo, and I got to play with it a little bit, and it seems like a pretty cool game. The big thing that I learned from it is that it is still Dragon Ball Super. Um, it's still Dragon Ball Super. You just could turn your brain off to certain things, which will allow for a slightly more focus on fundamentals. And that right there leads to a little bit more enjoyment, in my opinion. Sometimes it's hard to, I can see where having to account for so many things could be a problem. But I also don't see how this game does not go down the same path as Masters when Bandai's current card game philosophy is set comes out, power creep, power creep, power creep. Because if that's going to be the case, eventually Fusion World's going to be in the same spot as Masters is. Just, you know, maybe take a little longer to get there, but it will still be there at some point anyway. Hopefully, we have Nats for that next year, as well as Nats for Masters and Worlds for both as well. And that way, we could have, like they were trying to do this year, a crossover game between the Masters World Champion and the winner of the Fusion World Tournament. Speaking of winners, shout out to our national champion Patrick. Patrick did a good job that whole weekend playing Cooler Mill, and he had once he got to top four, relatively uh, easy path to the national title because he had to play two Android 21 players in a row. One being Raymond, the other one being Legends, and he was able to sweep both of them to get the national championship. Now, if there was one thing I think was kind of an issue, is that Worlds happened immediately after that, like within like a hour, I want to say. So uh, he couldn't really appreciate. You couldn't really appreciate his victory, and you couldn't really, give it time to breathe because it was like, here's your national champion trophy. Okay, get the hell off the stage. Get yourself ready for, Worlds, and then you had to like do all the world stuff, and then suddenly Legends is the world champion. Shout out to him, but he kind of gets forgotten in a way because of that situation. And I want to make sure people realize that he had a monster weekend and he did a great job in the top cut to make it where he was. And if the matchups and the lineups were different, he would probably even be world champion. Because that's the thing about games like this is that matchups matter. Um, for instance, I believe Raymond is the best 21 player in the world. I think he is way better than even Legends is, but he had to go against Cooler Mill first. And just as Legends fell to Patrick, if it was swapped the other way, Raymond would have probably still fell to Patrick, but he would have had at least a chance at Worlds and he could have been the world champion. Or maybe Patrick doesn't go against who he went against in the first round, went against someone else, and then suddenly he's the world champion. And so on and so forth, because again, matchups matter. Uh, but yeah, I'll try to get a deck profile for Raymond up on the channel this week. We're just trying to coordinate with each other because we're back in civilization and out of that third world country that is LA. And yeah, that's all I really have for you. It was overall a really positive experience on the Dragon Ball side, and I'll catch you again later. Just VG time signing out.